Rahul Gandhi's vote Chori charge, but right after the vote Chori charge, a fresh charge that he made yesterday, he tweeted, and that tweet has spiraled today, and BJP has hit back also. Me and Afrida will discuss this in sideline from the headlines today. What Rahul Gandhi has said and what does it mean and what's the significance in India. So basically Rahul Gandhi called out the Indian generation, which is younger than I am or Afrida are, so the Gen Z. So he wanted that generation to call out the democracy and be the protector of the democracy that he had been saying, but BJP hit out back at saying that this kind of thing cannot happen in India because something that has happened in Nepal had happened already in India, and the fight was against corruption. Nishikant Dubey specifically quoted, said that during Anna Hazare protest, and Arvind Kejriwal was also, he came out because of this Gen Z protest only. That happened in Delhi, but we also what happened in Indian democracy, that was also a change maker. And secondly, during Nirbhaya protest also, Gen Z came up, they hit the streets. Similar things has happened, but why Rahul Gandhi is saying this right now ahead of the Bihar elections, that is also a bigger question, and whether he can influence the younger generation, the Gen Z, if I put it in bracket, the certain sector. So can he actually influence and mobilize that certain sector in India?
Let's look at it in the right perspective. At one level it appears कि after seeing what has happened in Nepal, suddenly now you want to use that template कि वो यहाँ क्यों नहीं हो सकता. You want to they have dethroned, unseated those in power in record time with largely mobilized youth, coming together. But here, if you notice, there are two things. They were up in arms against corruption, they were up in arms against the nepotism. And which is why Nishikant Dubey, I feel, have pointed that out. You are symptomatic of both the things.
Yes.
You are perceived as a dynast. So there is a nepotism charge, and you are also perceived as corrupt and whatever, according to the BJP. And therefore the Gen Z, if at all they wanted to throw out, they have actually thrown you out. They would want to throw someone like you out. This is the BJP version, which is kind of expected. But to answer that question of whether can he mobilize, the fact is these all movements that we spoke about are organic, isn't it? It's not like an established political leader has descended on them and mobilized. So I don't think it's a fair comparison. Those are very different movements, and like you said, we already had similar movements in Anna Hazare movement or in the Nirbhaya case. For Rahul Gandhi to expect now to be able to channelize that youth power, I have my doubts, because if it doesn't happen organically, the Gen Z is also very smart. If somebody is trying to manipulate and influence, they get that as well. However, having said that, only in one issue I feel there is a possibility when he says that software being manipulated to delete voters, what he is bringing up about the Aland constituency, those sort of things, the Gen Z, it might appeal to them. They might get.
But that also he has to prove. EC has already said that it's not true. So they came up with figures, and they had already shown the website how it is. Rahul Gandhi has been coming up with a lot of new allegations. But at the same time, we have to think about it that what happened in Nepal was they did not have a leader to lead them. So it was their own group of their age group only. So there might be some certain
authenticity in it.
Yes, but here someone who's parliamentarian sits in the parliament, talks about democracy and talking about undemocratic culture right now. He's an LOP, and he should also think about it that if you want to win that position, you have to contest the elections, and that too fairly. Every time he cannot come up with such allegations about EVM or vote Chori, what he is alleging. And similarly,
he is yet to come up with the hydrogen bomb, don't forget. That is still being kept under the wraps. We don't know what is in there. He claims that there is a lot of data to expose everything. This is what I'm saying, that the Gen Z, if you're thinking of influencing them, something of a malified activity online or in technology might appeal to this generation, and they might say they are very much into fairness, right? Which is why they are against nepotism, which is why they are against corruption. They want an even playing field. Because I've raised 2 kids myself, and I've seen that they are very clear about having a even playing field. Any sort of unfairness or entitlement or privilege that is unfairly given to one person, or selective preference given to, they don't like that. But Rahul Gandhi is the wrong person for it, because he comes from that entitled background, which is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and I think the Nepo kids the term has now become more bigger than just to be limited to the Bollywood or Hollywood personalities and their background only. It's the synonym of corruption. I think after Nepal we can say that, because they had been fighting against corruption, not just the privileged people or the luxury that they had, that triggered them and they hit the streets. It happened in Nepal, in Indonesia also it has happened. The protests happened against corruption. Similarly, similar kind of protests are happening in Philippines also, which is marred by floods, and now they are coming up with corruption charges against their president. However, the government was toppled in Philippines also years ago. The current president's father's regime was also toppled. So now again I think that fear looms large there in Philippines. But coming back to India, what we are seeing right now is the timing of it is very important. What Rahul Gandhi is saying, this has just been tweeted right before the Bihar elections. We are already in the phase of in the mode of Bihar elections. So why is he
targeted to that
election? Yes, but will he get political gains? I don't think so, because this will be a setback.
Given his credentials,
his
credentials will be a setback.
also,
like, he doesn't have the locus standi to talk about nepotism.
Yes.
He probably is not in that position where he can claim these issues which the Gen Z is up against. But there's another example in that. There's the example of Zohran Mamdani also. In a way, if you look at it, again coming from nowhere, in a way from out of the woods, like they say, he's managed to challenge a big political figure, and that also becomes a template on how, through social media mobilization, how he has done carpet bombing of reels and his rapping videos. He's also done it. So which is why.
But Mamdani's, if you check the Mamdani's background, he might be new in politics, but his background is very strong. His mother is a director, film director, and very famous and award-winning director. So that
that in India, but in US politics, he was not
He
a
was
big.
new.
He was not a big name. Yeah, that way, yes. What I'm saying here is, again coming back to the Rahul Gandhi issue, that he is definitely drawing inspiration from these instances, from how the youth power can be mobilized to change political destinies. But as Inder and I know, in politics it's never so simple. It cannot happen that you take a leaf out of one country and start applying it here. It doesn't always work. Thank you so much.